learn my lesson. That's just a message, know that your brain is a powerful weapon. It ain't no guessing, ain't no checking, boy. You know
what's happening, y'all? Just out here chilling, smoking a cigar. I took my wrapper off. It's a Romeo y Julieta Habana Cuba. It's the short Churchill. The camera probably ain't gonna zoom in on it because it be acting a fool. But dropped it. I'm about to say I dropped my cigar band. Let's see if we can get the camera to cooperate at all. Probably not. Camera that's out is there. Autofocus my ass. That's what they claim. Anyway, if you want to see a picture of the cigar I'm smoking, go to Instagram at WHATEVA_man. I just did a post that I was going to be smoking this cigar, so you can see it there. Karate in the garage, like always. You can see I'm clearly in the garage. I got racks full of shit on this side of me. I got the whip on this side of me. Plus all the stuff in the back and on the other side of the car. So, you know, karate in the garage is the truth. The truth. Yeah, but I don't know. I love this cigar. It's an excellent cigar. I love smoking it. I bought a 5-pack. Actually, we bought a box. It's a 10-pack box, I think, and I split it with my coworker. I've been hanging on to this one for about it's probably been 2-3 months. It's the last one I got. I'm ready to make some, you know, order some new stuff. So I said, F it, I'll go ahead and smoke tonight. Smoke something good, change your pace. You know, I've been smoking those Alpha cigars heavy, so just something different tonight, you know. But yeah, man, I'm just out here chilling, man. You know, still thinking about the fights from this weekend. Adrian Broner, Manny Pacquiao, Marcus Brown, and Badu Jack. Man, I thought that Marcus Brown Badu Jack fight, you know, I mean, it was a good fight. Marcus Brown is the truth. You know, he put it on Badu Jack. The fight maybe would have been more competitive had that cut not opened up from the accidental clash of headbutts. Man, that was a nasty cut. Man, I think as long as I've been watching boxing, that's probably the worst cut I've ever seen. At least off the top of my head. I mean, the only thing that was holding that man's brain in was his skull. I mean, he had a gash like this. That's wicked, man. But Mad Heart, man, I don't know how he finished that fight. You know, Marcus Brown, man, he's a solid fighter, man. He was using his movement, creating angles, man, and when he pops, man. He came in firing solid body shots, you know, boxing. He's got a mean left hand. Marcus Brown is the truth, you know. One of the things that I would say, and he didn't necessarily have to knock Badu Jack out, but if he had that true killer instinct, he would have knocked him out, or, you know, maybe he would have been a little bit more inclined to do so. I think the cut at times threw both of them off, because there was a point where Marcus Brown landed a punch right on the cut. It was later in the fight, so this was after it, you know, the bleeding had slowed down a little bit. He hit Badu Jack right on the cut, and Badu Jack kind of did like this, you know, and then shook his head a couple more times. And Marcus Brown, you know, sat back and watched. Somebody with the killer instinct, I mean, again, maybe he thought the ref was going to jump in and stop it or something like that. But somebody with the killer instinct would have pounced on him. He would, as soon as he bounced back and did that first head shake, Marcus Brown should have been jumping in and throwing punches if he wanted to go for the knockout. But he was so in control in that fight, he didn't necessarily have to knock the man out. And not to say that he would have. I mean, Badu Jack was tough. I don't know how he fought through all that. You know, you get your adrenaline going, you're out there. You know, we're talking about somebody who's a fighter by trade. So, you know, a fighter's mentality is gonna keep, you know, a true warrior in the game. Badu Jack's corner sucks. Worst corner I've ever heard. Worst corner I've ever seen in my life. Um, because of the holding and such. Marcus Brown maybe threw a low blow at some point. I don't know. I know the holding was the reason he lost the point. But his Badu Jack's corner was telling him, hold on, man, he's about to get disqualified. You know, hang in there. He's going to get disqualified. What kind of strategy is that? You can't go in the ring banking that somebody else is going to do another foul. I don't care if they've committed a foul every single round. Now that the point's been deducted, what makes you think? I mean, how often does it happen? It doesn't happen very often, especially in professional boxing, that a fight is stopped on DQ because of holding or, I mean, you'll see it more often for low blows, but I don't think it was to the point that you should be counting, expecting the fight to be stopped. I just thought that was terrible, man. Give the man some instruction on what to do. And then there was a point in time where they told him that they wanted to see Mike Tyson. His trainer told him wanted to see Mike Tyson. And I'm like, what Mike Tyson do you want to see? Do you want him to go out there and bite Badu Jack's ear off? Like, what are you telling the man? Are you telling him that you want him to throw that signature Mike right to the body, right uppercut that he do? That basically double uppercut type deal that he do? I mean, what Mike Tyson did you want to see? Did you want to see the Mike Tyson that got knocked out by Buster Douglas? What did you want to see? I just thought that his corner was terrible. But again, Marcus Brown is the truth. He's not somebody that I want to fight. He's the truth. I give it to him. Step up in competition in fighting somebody like Badu Jack. The sky's the limit for Marcus Brown in the light heavyweight division. We'll see where he goes from here. I don't know where Badu Jack goes. I think it's terrible that nobody stopped that fight. The man clearly couldn't see. We're lucky that, the real damage that comes out of this is just the cut that he had to get stitched up. We're lucky that, he didn't get knocked out cold because he couldn't see. We're lucky that, he didn't have some sort of brain damage or end up in a coma. Not that happens all the time, but it's a possibility. He was clearly not going to win that fight. He was taking punishment. He clearly was having trouble seeing. There was so much blood on his face. Every time he leaned in either direction, the blood from that cut would run into that eye. So, gruesome fight. That happens sometimes in boxing. You seen Tony Meek's shirt. At the end of the fight, someone said he looked like a butcher. It was crazy. And then, we had the Manny Pacquiao and Adrian Broner fight, which I gave my reaction on. Manny Pacquiao looked old in that fight. He did do some of what he always does, jumps in, throws them pity pat punches, jumps out. If somebody jumps in at you and you allow them to jump in and they throw 7 or 8 punches, 1 or 2 of those punches are going to land each flurry, no matter how good your defense is. What we should have got from Adrian Broner in this fight, Adrian Broner should have let his hands go. He was doing a great job on the counters, but you have to add something to it. You can't rely just strictly on counter punching. He needed to do some offense, he needed to establish his jab. His jab was irrelevant in that fight. Anytime he was pawing his hand out, he was more pawing out, to try to find the range. I also think you should have went to the body, man. You're fighting a 40-year-old fighter. And when he did go to the body, it bothered Pacquiao. That was clear. Pacquiao was complaining about low blows that weren't happening because he didn't like getting hit in the body. When it comes to Adrian Broner, I said it before. I don't know if there's any, who knows? Does he have some sort of mental issue? And I say that because he really was trying to convince himself that he was doing enough to win that fight. And at the end of the fight, I mean, I don't know if he truly believed it or not. He seemed to, but I mean, with Adrian Broner, so much stuff is an act. Who knows? But he clearly wasn't winning that fight. And a key point in me wondering where Adrian Broner's mentals are inside of the fight was in the 11th round. In the 11th round, he's asking his corner, "I won that fight. I won that round. I won that round, right?" It's their responsibility to let him know that he wasn't winning that round and that he needed to have a knockout. And I don't know, course of conversation in previous rounds if that had came up where they were talking and Adrian Broner was thinking that he was winning rounds when he wasn't. This is your big shot. This is your time to be the man. Knock off a legend and put a legend on your resume, whether he's old or not. An old Manny Pacquiao showed up that could be countered, that could be outworked if you chose to outwork him. You could have moved around and cut the ring off and been more effective against Manny Pacquiao. I mean, all the signs of a young fighter fighting an old fighter. I mean, the opportunity to win the fight was there. Adrian Broner just didn't seize it. And all he had to do different from what he did was just throw a few more punches, come up with some sort of sustained offensive attack. And we're all armchair quarterbacks if you're not out there boxing and in the ring. So, I can't say, when you're in there faced with a legend, how easy it is to do that. I don't know what it would take for Adrian Broner to do that other than to actually throw the punches. But it needs to happen. People have been saying it for years, and this is a prime example. So from here on out, what do we see from Adrian Broner? I don't know. I mean, he's young enough that he could still have a successful second half of his career, but he's going to have to work so much harder because of where he's got himself at. I mean, to me, you're looking at being a tune-up fighter for other fighters, I mean, it's gonna take years. They're gonna throw him in there as a tune-up for somebody else, and he's gonna have to have a couple of upsets. I mean, simple as that. Otherwise, Adrian Broner is gonna be relegated to fighting on Spike TV or Bounce for the rest of his career. I mean, it is what it is. For Manny Pacquiao, I know he wants to fight Floyd Mayweather. That fight will be, even if Mayweather is a shell of his old self, he's going to whoop Manny Pacquiao. The Manny Pacquiao that we've seen in the ring also does not want to fight any of the young bulls, at 147. Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford, Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, they all beat him. I guess you could throw Mikey Garcia in there because he's moved up in weight. He beats him. Tank Davis is calling him out. And Tank Davis would beat this Manny Pacquiao at this age. But I don't like Tank Davis calling him out because Tank Davis should be worried about fighting Vasily Lomachenko. I don't like Sean Porter calling him out because Sean Porter should be fighting Errol Spence. Or be, calling out Errol Spence, ready to fight Errol Spence or Bud Crawford. But he don't want no work with either one of them. Keith Thurman would beat this Manny Pacquiao. Keith Thurman coming off of this long layoff. We don't know what Keith Thurman we're going to see in the ring until we see him, but I believe he would beat this Manny Pacquiao. So, we'll see. I don't want to see Manny Pacquiao get in with somebody like Errol Spence and leave the ring on a stretcher or something like that. I mean, all jokes aside, fighting somebody like that wouldn't be pretty. Anybody else, man, any of the other top welterweights would have destroyed Manny Pacquiao this weekend. So yeah, man. So that's that. Keith Thurman back next week. Who's fighting? Is Josecito Lopez? Let me double check. But Keith Thurman will be back next weekend. Can't wait to see Keith Thurman in the ring. Can't wait to see what Keith Thurman comes back. See how much work he has to do before he steps in there with somebody like a Errol Spence or has a rematch with a Sean Porter. So we'll be interested to see where that goes. And yeah, Josecito Lopez is who he's fighting. So, we'll be looking forward to watching that over the weekend. Now, I don't know. Maybe I should throw it into a separate video, but I'm out here smoking my cigar. I'm talking random talk. I'm talking what's on my mind. And there's a disturbing video that's going around. Over the weekend, there was a girl in an Atlanta nightclub, and she was streaming her time out in the nightclub on Facebook Live. Apparently, she was out by herself. She's drinking. She's on a dance floor. I'm not sure who was supposed to be showing up to the club because repeatedly in the video, there were times where she kept pointing the camera up at VIP, thinking that, whoever was there. But there's this guy dancing with her, hovering around her, asking stuff that you shouldn't ask, who she's with and stuff like that. But she's got her drink in her hand, and you can see her drink and what have you, and you can clearly see in the drink. I mean, clearly see that there's a pill inside of the drink. And I don't know if she had more than one drink that had the pill in it, because at separate times it was in kind of in a different location. It was not a cube of ice. That was some sort of pill. And then later on, I don't know if it was separate videos because I watched somebody else's post, and she's out there in the middle of the dance floor, stop, help me, blah, 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 and I know it's loud inside the club, but okay. Somebody had to see it. It couldn't have looked like they was dancing. Dancing and fucking look like two different things. And somebody had to hear. I mean, you're out in a club and you can see the atmosphere. It's like any other club, it's back to back. You're up against people. People are right there, and nobody helped the poor girl, and one of the reasons that this, hits me hard, right, is I'm looking at the video I was watching. Somebody was posting or they screenshotted or showed some of the comments that people were leaving on like the Facebook Live video or on posts or what have you. And people were saying shit like, well, she shouldn't have had on such a short dress. What does she expect? She shouldn't have been all up on him. What does she expect? I mean, it was like, bro, like, I don't give a fuck if a motherfucker is walking around the club in their bra and panties. I don't care if she's in there in lingerie. I don't care if she's in there, completely naked. How is any of that an excuse for rape? There's no justification for that man raping that lady. I'm sorry, there's not. And you got to be careful, y'all. You got to be careful, man. This primarily goes to the ladies, but men, you got to be careful in the club too. I can tell y'all about a time that now I'm in Columbus, Ohio. I went to there's a club here called Scully's. I usually go in there, or not usually. I used to go in there on Sundays when they had reggae night. But there was a particular show, Too Short was coming. Too Short was in town, and the there was some locals that were opening up for him, and I was in there. I went by myself because none of my friends, I'm hitting people up. Nobody wanted to go. Nobody's answering. You know how it is. So this time I just so happened to go by myself. And I had a spot up against the bar, cool spot. I was there early, posted up so I could be in a good spot, when the show started and everything. Was drinking shots of Cuervo. I had like 2 shots, and my boy ended up hitting me up, and he came up there. So, we ended up being up in there chilling together or whatever. But I'm up against the bar, everything's cool, blah, blah, blah. So I think I ordered my 3rd drink while he was there, and these wasn't heavy shots. And I'm somebody that I can handle, heavy liquor. To be honest with you, I didn't even feel drunk, right? And then all of a sudden, I looked at him. I started feeling funny. I looked at him, and I was like, bro, Too Short had been out there just for a little bit, but I looked at him, and I was like, bro, I gotta go. And I just turned around and walked out. I remember walking to the door. I remember going around on the side. And the next thing I know is I remember waking up the next day. My lady mad at me. I didn't come in the house fussing and cussing. I don't remember none of this shit. Right? Off of like 3 shots of tequila? Blackout drunk? Come on, man. I go, man, my chain is broke. I go out to my car. It's blood on the seat of my car. You know what I'm saying? It's blood on my shirt. I'm like, man, what the fuck, man? So I call my boy, and he like, man, he was like, you was like, bro, I gotta roll. He's like, and you just walked out. He's like, you didn't look back, you didn't stop, no nothing. He was like, man, I looked. He was like, man, ain't nobody follow you out or nothing like that. So I say that to say, and I was cool. I don't know what the fuck somebody put in my drink. I didn't leave my drink laying on the bar. So it had to me, in my opinion, it had to be one of the bartenders. But I say all that to say nobody's immune from the little bullshit that people do when you're out and about in these clubs. You know what I'm saying? You got to watch your back. You got to watch your back at all times. Ladies, don't sit your drink down and walk off. Don't sit your drink down and go to the bathroom. Finish that motherfucker. Go to the bathroom and come back and order another drink and make sure you're getting another glass. If you're walking around the club, man, carry your drink like this with the straw only sticking through your hands or something, man. These motherfuckers is crazy, man. Because I'm looking at the way old girl is holding her drink, and dude must have reached around her and kind of, and slipped it in there when she wasn't looking or looking the other way or when she was dancing or something. Because, man, these people are sick, man. These people are sick. Women, I can tell you, there's a million niggas out here that'll give you some dick right now if you call them, just on some random humbug shit. And men, it's the same way, man. It's plenty of chicks' legs is open, like a bodega, 24/7. You feel me? There is no need for anybody to rape somebody. If that's the only way you can get some pussy, use a bitch ass nigga. Just off rip, man. You a hoe. There ain't no way to sugarcoat it. You know what I'm saying? That's fucked up. And one of the things that bothers me about all this is that's somebody's daughter. You know what I'm saying? That's somebody's aunt. That's somebody's niece. I don't know if she had kids, but that could be somebody's mother. She ain't deserve that. And just like the video I made a couple days ago about fight videos. What's with people? Now, I don't think there was some third party person that was actually recording it, but people ran out and they screenshotted her videos. They made copies of her videos, basically. So even though she's deleted all her stuff, her videos of being raped is out there. She's gonna have to deal with that for the rest of her life. On top of the fact that she's got to deal with that she was raped for the rest of her life. You know, it's sad, man. And bro, I hope they catch the dude that did that and crucify him. Crucify him. You know, when he get caught and he go to jail, I know the cats in jail is gonna take care of him. Because when you in the jail, the prison system, man, people don't like rapists. You know, they don't like domestic abusers. They don't like people that beat women and abuse children and stuff like that. They don't like that. But he's got to get caught and he's got to go. And even if he goes and, you know, they beat the shit out of him or whatever they're going to do to him while he's in there, kill him, whatever, wherever it ends up, she's still scarred for life because of what happened. And it's sad, you know, like I said, with that fight video, you know, cats will pull out their camera and record a fight going on. Nobody breaks up the fight. Nobody calls the police. You know, every single one of them people that was in there, anybody who seen what was going on or heard her asking for help and crying, that's on your conscience too. You got to live with that for the rest of your life. You know, if it had been one of them, I'm pretty sure they would have wanted somebody to help them out. You know, so it's a crazy world, man. Crazy world. You know, and now, so this that happened in Atlanta. Super Bowl is gonna be there in 2 weeks. Y'all better be on y'all's P's and Q's for the Super Bowl. I'm telling you. I went to the Super Bowl in Indianapolis a few years ago. Well, it ain't been a few years ago now. Damn, man, I'm trying to think of when that was, man. It was when Eli Manning beat the Patriots. It was the Patriots and the Giants. But man, it was, you know, there's all the club parties going on. There's plenty of women, and we went when it was cold, you know. So even though you still are going to get women that are dressed skanky, they were dressed a little bit more covered because it was like freaking 10 degrees while we were there. But there's people there with bad intentions. There's plenty of hookers that are out for these Super Bowl things. There's plenty of women that are looking for sex. There's plenty of men that are women looking for sex. You don't know if the person you're talking to is, you know, just some female that's out kicking it or whatever, or if she is one of the hookers until you get back to the room and she wants some money. You know, you don't know what these guys' intentions are. You know, sex on the first night, anybody that's doing that stuff in the club, you know, either going home with somebody that they don't know, taking somebody to their house that they don't know, which is the ultimate no-no. Even if they ain't going to rape you or do something to you that night, you don't take somebody you don't know to your crib. Are you serious? That's what hotels are for. You know what I'm saying? But they better be on their P's and Q's, man, because there's got to be a big spotlight on this, and you know, the potential for things to happen when there's a bunch of drunk people there, a bunch of rich drunk people there, you know, people out having a good time. I mean, we went to 2, sometimes 3 club parties a night while we was at the Super Bowl. You know, we got up in the morning, rolled out from the hotel, and I mean, we ain't come back until like 4, 5 in the morning. You know. So I say all that to say, you know, we need to be safe, we need to be careful, but please, women, any women that listen to this, you know, especially women, guys too, but watch yourself when you're out here in these bars and clubs, man. Don't go solo. You know, make sure you with some friends. Make sure you with a group. I don't care if you sit your drink down and turn around to give somebody a hug. you better look at your drink when you turn back around. But at the same time, man, fuck that drink, man. It's sad. It is truly sad that we have to talk about this or worry about these type of things. I stopped going out to clubs and bars unless I'm out, with my people, because it's all bullshit, man. You got to watch your back the whole time you're there, so you really can't have fun. It ain't comfortable anyway. I mean, you in there crammed in like sardines. You can't move. You can't breathe. You know what I'm saying? There's been times I was in a club and it was so packed, I end up pressed up against somebody and me and her would have to dance just because it wasn't no room for us to fucking move. So we like, fuck it, we here, let's just dance or whatever. But but still, like, that ain't have shit to do with shit. I don't know why I even said that. But just in all serious, man, our queens, man, we got to protect our queens, man. If you out here and you see somebody doing wrong, the closest dude to that should have knocked dude out on sight. On sight. Fuck going to jail. Fuck getting in trouble. You can't let somebody sit there and get raped in your face. And you can't tell me that when you're crammed in there like sardines, that somebody did not know that was going on. Somebody knew. Somebody knew, and I doubt that he was surrounded by a bunch of his boys, like boxing her in where nobody else could see it, because the whole time in the videos, it's just him. If you out, and you want to get to know somebody, talk to them, cool, I guess. Step off the dance floor, and go where, I don't know, man. I can't even tell you how to do it, man, because that's not going to prevent somebody that's a predator from forcing you back out there, or y'all end up back out there dancing later or something. But be wary of these people, man. I mean, somebody you don't know show up, they want to dance with you. There's a million people in there. They only want to dance with you. They're asking you questions like who you with, where you from, stuff like that. It's just sick, man. That's sick. And I don't know. I feel for the girl, but I think I'm more disgusted by the comments that I seen with people trying to justify what happened. There is no justification, right? So, ladies, think about that too, man. That tells you these people's mindset out here. That tells you their mindset. And their mindset is they don't give a fuck, right? They don't give a fuck about you. When you out and you amongst your own people, people ain't teaming up to help everybody out and stuff like that. I don't know, man. I mean, you think you would feel safe, but you can't feel safe. And it just goes to show too that you can't trust nobody, man. Me personally, I don't trust nobody. I've been that way for a long time. It's just sad, man. I still can't believe that happened. I hate that this stuff ends up online, out there on Facebook, on YouTube. Because again, now that old girl has deleted her videos or all her posts, hey, Scrapbook, man, how you doing? Now that old girl has deleted all her videos and her posts, this video is circulating on YouTube for life. People are going to know, they can Google it or search it 20 years down the line, and her name's going to come up. Girl that was raped inside of Atlanta nightclub. And that's terrible, man. If somebody's got to walk around with that and have that experience for the rest of their life. So I hope they catch the dude. But again, I need our sisters to be more aware of their surroundings, be less trusting of people. You know, I'm in Columbus, Ohio. Everybody claims that the women here are stuck up, but you know, if you have to give if somebody's got to have an opinion of you being stuck up because you don't want to find yourself in that sort of situation where somebody ends up taking advantage of you, then so be it. I mean, your protection in your life is more important than somebody's opinion of you. Man, I'm doing good, scrapbook, man. I'm just out here chilling. I'm smoking a cigar. Got me a Cuban cigar out in the garage. It's cold as I don't know what, man. It's like 3 degrees in Columbus, Ohio. It's supposed to be -5. I'm in the garage doing my thing. Uh, you know, I was talking a little bit about the fights from this weekend earlier, and then I kind of transitioned over to this talk about that rape that happened in the Atlanta club over the weekend. You know, which was disgusting to me that the videos are out there. You know, but now I just shared my thoughts a little bit on the you know, Broner Pacquiao thing earlier, and in my opinion, man, the door was open for Adrian Broner to win the fight. Manny Pacquiao looked old. He was jumping in and jumping out like I thought he would. You know, Adrian Broner was working his counter game. You know, I liked what Adrian Broner was doing from a countering perspective. Could have did a little bit better, but I liked what he was doing. But he didn't have anything to go with it. There was no sustained offensive attack, which was disappointing to me. You know, he was using his jab, just kind of pawing out there, but not actually looking to hit Manny Pacquiao. More of a rangefinder type thing, you know, that people do. It was disappointing though. I mean, you're fighting a 40-year-old man, and you don't go to the body. You can't outwork him. He had the opportunity to outwork Pacquiao in that fight. And I think that had he have mounted some sort of sustained offensive attack, even if it, you know, it didn't have to be the most effective attack, but add that into the counter punching, you know, you make Pacquiao honest, you stop all that jumping in, you cut off the ring on him. The opportunity was there. He just didn't go for it. And after all the build up and all the talk going into it, I mean, and it's even more sad to me that at the end he thought he won the fight. I don't know. You know, I was riding with Adrian Broner from day one of him announcing that, or the fight being announced, you know. So I really, truly thought that he had the opportunity to win. Everything I thought we were going to see from Manny Pacquiao was there, and he just didn't take advantage of it. Throw Manny Pacquiao in the ring with any of the other top dogs at 147, and he would have lost that fight last night. And I don't want to hear any talk about Manny Pacquiao ending up in the ring with somebody like a Errol Spence or even a Sean Porter, especially like a Errol Spence though, or Bud Crawford. I mean, when people fight beyond their prime, it doesn't always end well, right? We know that. You know, we've been watching boxing forever. And Manny Pacquiao is not my favorite fighter, but he is a legend. He's somebody I respect. He's somebody I watched growing up fight all the time. I don't want to see him leave the ring on a stretcher. I don't want to see him get knocked out the ring like Bernard Hopkins did. I don't want to see that from one of our greats. You're right. He definitely is a safety first person. He's a 100% defensive fighter. He's got pop in his punches and he's got speed. You know, somebody's got to work with him to develop an offensive game. Somebody's got to do it. I don't know where Adrian Broner goes from here for the rest of his career. Again, if he doesn't you know, he's basically kind of going to be a gatekeeper. I mean, for the most part, I mean, you know, and until he beats some people, the big fights are over. So if somebody throws him in there as a tune-up fight, he's going to have to upset some of those people to get the, you know, to get another big chance. He's going to have a couple of upsets to build his name back up, and get in the true conversation. Now, if he slips in and, you know, somewhere down the line gets to fight for like a vacant title or something like that, that might get him back in the ring with one of the big names. But otherwise, he's going to have to beat one of the big guys. But when is his opportunity going to come again? And then if it does, what is he going to do different? You know, some of the people in his corner need to go. Matt Stafford took him as far as he could go, and I like that he hired Kevin Cunningham to try to give him a different viewpoint. But Matt Stafford is still active in his corner. You know, you might need to move on from that. His pops is still in his corner. You know, anybody that's telling him stuff like he's winning these rounds and he's winning these fights, if somebody's co-signing to that and they can't be honest with him and tell him the truth, they need to go. Kevin Cunningham still hasn't been able to bring it out of him. So maybe Kevin Cunningham isn't the fit for him. Maybe he's more disciplined and helped to get him into shape, because I thought AB looked like he was in great shape. I watched some of the videos that Kevin Cunningham was posting to him in training camp and working out and such. You know, so that part of the game isn't the problem. Somebody has to bring the monster out of Adrian Broner. Somebody needs to take him back to the Medina fight days. You know what I'm saying? Somebody needs to take him back to the Adrian Broner that won titles in 4 different weight divisions. That Adrian Broner used to punch and let his hands go. But we may never see that Adrian Broner again, given the fact that this was the biggest stage of his career. He could have derailed the whole Pacquiao Mayweather 2 thing, which I don't know if it happens after this. Floyd, in my opinion, it's going to be just as clear cut as the first fight was, based on the Pacquiao that I seen. And that's even if Floyd is 75% or 60% of who he was in the last fight. But yeah, man, I don't know. But man, I've been on here cooking for a while, man. I'm about to finish up this cigar, get out this cold. I'm in the garage, but it's still freezing cold, you know. And I got to work tomorrow. I should be in the bed anyway, but I don't know. I took a nap earlier, so I'm probably gonna be up late. But man, hey, Scrapbook, I appreciate you stopping over, man. There's so much video content that comes out. I do my best to get over there and check out your videos. I love that Forgotten Fisticuff series. So I need to get over there and watch a few videos. So, you know, definitely gonna do that, man. But appreciate you stopping through, man. And I'm gonna hop out of here. All right, you're welcome, man. Take it easy.